going to record. Grab an oil that is near you, that is speaking to you, that you want to connect with tonight. I'm going to grab Rose. Let's go ahead and take a few deep inhales. Oh, shucks. Lots of people in the waiting room. Kanan, I'm going to make you co-host and help me with admitting people. All right, so I'm getting Rose. Let's take a few deep inhales. And if you feel so inclined, place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I am doing the best that I can. I am doing the best that I can. I am doing the best that I can. Okay, all right. Welcome, 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 everyone. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to my mom, who is going to share with us tonight about AirX, which is a newly released permanent product for us. Last week, Kate did an awesome job of talking about peppermint soft gels, and we forgot to mention that the reason why we spotlighted that product was because it was 25% off this month. So my mom is going to be sharing with us about AirX. So go ahead, Mom, take it.
Can you do me a favor? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you share, let me share my screen? Because only the O's can share screen in this meeting. Oh, great.
I just gave you co-hosting privileges, so you should be able to share now.
Yay, okay, screen. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see that? Can you see that?
I just see your name. Does anybody else see it?
Oh, shucks.
No.
No, oh, darn it. So sorry, give me 1 second. Photos. One more time.
Nope.
Still not. Okay,
nope.
Well, I tried doing this all today and I thought I got it done, but obviously not doing so good. Okay, so AirX. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to put up a little piece of paper like this for you to see. But AirX is I really, really like this product. And the reason for it is because it has actually five different, it's a blend, and it has 5 different, mostly cleansing oils in it. The first one is tangerine. And I don't know about you ladies or guys on the call, but I love tangerine. And there's also grapefruit. Those are pretty citrusy, but when you actually, for myself personally, I don't smell the citrus as much as I smell the cardamom and the litsea. So it's got tangerine, cardamom, litsea, grapefruit, and frankincense. So if you were to look it up, basically most of those are cleansing. They really have a lot of cleansing, and they're very uplifting. So I'd say that if you are in, the one thing about cardamom though is that it's really it helps open your respiratory. It helps your respiratory function, and it's really, really good to help promote feelings of clear breathing. So I would say that if you're really in a mood to feeling a little bit sluggish or just need a fresh breath of fresh air kind of feeling around you, diffuse AirX. Now I'm going to tell you, for the longest time when we got this as a special, right? And I kept thinking that it was just to diffuse because that's pretty much all I listen to, right? And I started just because of researching today, I realized that it said supplement facts on it. And it's sure as well, I can go ahead and put it in water. And I did. I also just put a little bit on my thumb and put it inside my mouth. And it's actually a really refreshing feeling. Um, I do like it more smelling it on me with mixing more frankincense with it. Um, just because I love to have this fragrance of frankincense on it. But primarily, frankincense helps support the DNA functions vital to our health. Grapefruits, grapefruit is very energizing and it's cleansing to the air. And so is tangerine. Tangerine has cleansing and purifying properties. And Litsea is known to fight airborne pathogens and purify the air. Cardamom, again, it's helping to open up your airways and supporting healthy respiratory function. So I would say that those are really great things for you if you want to have just a refreshing kind of feeling. Does anybody have any questions? I am so sorry that my screen didn't show the picture. Any questions? I would say diffuse, diffuse, diffuse. It's a really, really lovely oil to diffuse. And I actually kind of like putting it in my water now. So new thing for my water.
Awesome. Thanks, Mom, for sharing. I
Sure.
appreciate it. Anybody
Yeah.
else want to share anything about AirX? Tosh says that she likes diffusing it. Jen Reichert says she put it in a sugar scrub. That sounds really nice too. Tawny, Jessica Stack. A lot of people are really loving this blend. I won't lie, I was kind of hoarding mine just because I had my one bottle and it wasn't a permanent product. So now that I know that it's a permanent product, I will definitely be utilizing it more. Fraser, she loves using it in her bathroom spray. And Cherise says she likes, ooh, making your own hand sanitizer with it. Cherise, let us know what you're doing for your hand sanitizer recipe. I love that. And then Kehao is saying she's diffusing it right now. So awesome. I love that. So this is a great new fun product if you're looking for a way to touch bases with some of your customers and just let them know what's happening, sending them some information about AirX and letting them know that this is a permanent product is something that you could do this month. Awesome. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Kanan said, so good in your mask. Oh, tell us more about that in the chat. Okay, you guys, tonight we have a really, really special guest that Fraser has set up for us. But before I turn it over to her to introduce him, I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. First of all, we go through that. I'm doing the best that I can protocol for a reason. If you're not taking time during your day to breathe and to remind yourself that you are showing up the best that you can, you should start doing that. And I'm starting with that with what I'm about to say because I'm actually very nervous and a little bit um uncomfortable having to say this because I just you know that I pride myself on being honest with everybody and super open and transparent, and I am doing the best that I can. And even though sometimes I know that my best is not my absolute best, it's what I have to lean into to just remind myself that I'm moving forward at least and that I'm trying to do the best. And what that comes down to and what I'm really trying to get at is, this community and all of us on the leadership team, we truly do try to do the very best that we can to support you as a community. And as this team has grown, it has become amazing, but also challenging to try to meet everybody where they're at and try to offer assistance and guidance and support to everyone in their specific places. And we are open to feedback. I cannot stress that enough. We are open to feedback. And a perfect example is that one of my leaders just told me that some members of her team would like to explore having the team call earlier on Wednesdays. And my initial reaction, I'm not going to lie, was like, no, like this is the time we've always had this call. This call time works honestly best for me. And I was the one who started the call, right? So my initial reaction was like, no, that's not going to work. And then I paused and I was like, but wait, how many people are saying this to you? And then wait, let me get some more input from some of the other leaders on the team. And so I went to my leadership team and I asked them to reach out to their people and get just a temperature check on it. And to be honest, it's still kind of 50-50, but it does seem like there are some people, and I know that we stay on afterwards for leadership team calls. So sometimes, and Kate goes to sleep really early. So sometimes we really push her past her bedtime to stay on with us. So, after a quick reflection, I was like, man, I gotta like, I mean, it happened all literally within minutes where I was like, okay, let me slow down and not let that be my initial reaction. Okay. And so that's something that we're going to discuss tonight. So if you feel strongly about the calls being at 8 or 8:30 on Wednesdays, please reach out to your person. You should know who your person is and give them that feedback. Okay. Because we're possibly going to try that. If there's enough people that want to give that a try, moving into next month and see how it goes for a couple of months, we're totally open to that. Another thing that I've gotten some feedback about is, you know, feeling a little bit of pressure from the homework. I want to say something, and I want this, I hope that you guys all hear me when I say this and believe me when I say this. This is your business. Everything is optional. You showing up tonight is optional. It's your business. We are here doing the best we can to try to guide you, support you, mentor you in the best way that we know how. And that best way might work really well for some people and might not work well for other people, right? So for instance, the biz building guide. This was a resource that doTERRA has put out for a reason. There are very specific steps in here to helping launch, relaunch, guide you in building your business. And so we felt like it was important to bring that back to you and to find a way to help you engage in it rather than going page by page together every single week. And this, though, is optional to you. Okay. And it's funny because on one hand, we get, feedback that I want a little bit more structure for launching builders. To be perfectly honest, you guys, it's not something we've done really, really well in this community, is having like a real structured way for like, okay, you're launching your business. This is exactly what you're going to do. Well, this is what we're trying to lean into with this guide. And so by helping people to I wouldn't be doing my job as a leader. We wouldn't be doing our job as a leadership team if we didn't push you a little bit outside your comfort zone. Because outside your comfort zone is where the growth happens. Outside your comfort zone is where the magic happens. But it's entirely up to you to decide if the homework from this is, within your comfort zone of wanting to do it or outside of your comfort zone and wanting to do it. And if not, then do not do it. There is no obligation in any way. This is your business. You are always in control of it. But it is also my responsibility and our responsibility as leaders of this team to remind you that if you're not pushing, if you're not showing up to do the work, you can't expect to get the results. And so there's this very fine, tricky line that I feel like we walk and navigate in trying to push and encourage while also still be loving and not make it feel like high pressure. I want to tell you guys, we are really not a high pressure team. I promise you. I promise you, we're not a high pressure team. But if you have big goals, you have to show up big. And if your goals are smaller, then you can show up in your own pace, in your own time. Okay. Some leaders are asking for more structure, for more focus, for more something like this. Some of you are like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good to me. This doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel my flow. You guys, take what you want and leave what you don't. But just remember that this is your business, and what you put in is what you get out. And I have learned a very hard lesson for me. I can't make everybody happy. Oh boy, I want to so badly. I want to make everyone happy all the time, and it is impossible. And that's been a very hard lesson for me to learn. And so all I can do is show up for you guys every week, be real, be raw, be honest, be open, and tell you that we are doing the best that we can. If you have feedback, please send it. I appreciate those of you that have sent in your feedback to your people to pass up along. I am always open to, please never be afraid to talk to me, but that we're always all not going to be happy. And you are free to do, you guys, I never had this. I never had mentor calls. I never had an upline that mentored me through this process. I just went out and I did the best that I could. And look what has come of it. And look at all of you. But I also want to encourage you that if you're feeling a tug or a pull, that something isn't resonating with you, if there's a different way that you want to do this, go out and do this. We are always here, but no one is bound to this community or bound to the way that we do things. We are just doing the best we can to show up for all of you and provide what we can as we learn and we grow and we evolve as leaders. Okay. All right. So that's my soapbox for tonight. I am going to, please put your names in the chat. We're not going to talk about it any more than just announcing a prize at the end for you if you did complete pages 15 and 16 in your Biz Builders Guide. So that's your the name section, right, of your Biz Builders Guide. If you did do that, put that in the chat so that we can get a giveaway at the end of the night. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Fraser to introduce her special guest that we are so excited to have tonight.
Hello guys, can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, okay, awesome. So when Liza mentioned that for this call tonight, she really wanted us to do like a mindset topic type of a training for tonight's call, I instantly knew who I wanted to bring on as a guest speaker. I just finished doing one of his personal trainings and it was absolutely amazing. So Jordan Mossman, I think he's on page 2. I actually met Jordan initially in church. Oh, I just saw him pop up. There he is. Okay, so I met Jordan in church. He is the ministry director for the children's ministry. And our children's ministry at church is huge. So he's like the whole director for that. And he's super amazing. So I'm one of the leaders within the Kids Zone too. So I was able to work directly with him. I knew how amazing he was as a leader. So when I found out that he does leadership trainings and mastermind, like mindset type of trainings, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to sign up for this. So I signed up, I did his 5-week training and it was super, super amazing. So I hope he mentions like how to sign up for that because it's really good and I highly recommend that you all sign up for it. So Jordan Mossman is the founder of JM Leadership Group. So you can find him on Instagram, JM Leadership Group, and he does leadership training, mastermind training. And if you've done, I mean, our team has done like the Tony Robbins training before. We had somebody come on. So I've done Tony Robbins training. What's different with his that I love, love, love about his is that it's like small group settings. It's very personal. It's interactive. So it's not like you come on, they spew out all these amazing things and then nothing ends up happening. Like you're actually really interactive with the group and he gets you like really working and thinking and growing, which is really important. So I'm going to shoot it over to Jordan Mossman.
Hey, Fraser, can you hear me okay? Audio working good? Yeah, okay, yep. Awesome. Just got to check in on all the specifics, you know, the picture and the audio and all that. But, you know, wow, like it's Thank you so much for those kind words. It means a lot. It really does, and it means a lot because you're a friend. You know, you and Dustin, you guys are friends to me and Jamie. And yeah, there's the professional, the business side of what we do. And but I guess hearing that from a friend, it means a lot. It really does. So and when I'm hearing that, I'm like, I really wish my teenagers can hear this right now because I try to be cool every day to my teenagers, and they're not convinced that I'm cool, that dad's cool. And if you have teenagers, you can throw your hand up really quickly because you know what I'm talking about. Like you're never cool to a teenager, right? So, well, I guess for me, I'm not. But thank you for so much for saying that. I'm really excited today, and I was really trying to think of what can I focus in on in the time that we have. So, forgive me if I go a little quick with some things, but I don't want to miss things because as I was looking at what to prepare for tonight, as I was trying to trim things down, I don't want to take things out that's principle that needs to be so we can get a complete picture. I never want to do any time if it's a training or whatever we have to do and leave something out. I want to capture as much as I can the pillars of whatever we're capturing, and I'll do my best today. We just went through a 3-day workshop, and I'm going to try my best to take that and kind of hone in on it. And to be honest with you, 5 minutes before I pushed the connect button, I finally felt like this is it. Like this is it. This is going to be awesome. So I want you to have the same expectation. Like it's going to be awesome, not because of Jordan, not because of that, but because these are things like I'm somebody that you really got to prove that. You really got to kind of like prove things to me. I want to research it and look into it. So looking at today, we may have never met, but I want to tell you this. I get excited to do these things because there's people like you that inspire me. And if I say that, and that your first hesitation is, come on, Jordan, you don't even know me. Like, how can you tell me you inspire me? I want you to know that I don't need to know you personally to say that you inspire me. You are here at 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock, on a call, open to learning about how to build this business. What is it going to take to learn more about the product? What is it going to take to learn about ourselves as we grow? And you're here making time on our busy schedules. We're all busy. We just went through a pandemic. We're in the middle of it. Crazy stuff going on in the world, but you're making time to connect on here. What that tells me is that you're somebody that you persevere, that you're choosing to believe, that you dare to dream, that whatever it takes for you, because we all have good days, bad days, you made it important enough to be here. So that's why I can say genuinely, very authentically, that it's people like you that inspire me. And anytime I can be connected to people that inspire me, it's a double blessing. It really is. So I want you to know that I'm finding great value in being here today. I hope that you do the same too. I never want to waste a minute of somebody else's time in this. So I'm going to do my best to give you everything that I can in this time. And what I want to do really quickly is I love interaction. So if you can in the chat, I like to start with something really quickly. If you can put in the chat 3 words, just 3 words, nothing more, 3 words that you would tell someone to encourage them or to motivate them. Just 3 words that you can type in the chat that you would tell someone to encourage them or motivate them. Think of a friend, think of a family member, think of a stranger, think of somebody that's maybe going through a tough time or maybe a dry season or whatever it is. And just think of 3 words that come to mind. Don't filter it so much. Just go for it. Just go for it. Trust. You are loved. Awesome. God bless you. Awesome. Focus on why. I love it. Just have faith. You got this. You are awesome. I love it. I love it. Keep that coming up with 3 words. 3 words. Just have hope. Got your back. Never give up. Faith, trust, connect. Awesome. 3 words. And as you go ahead and you keep typing that in, type that in, and we're going to recap on that when we close at the end of today's stuff. I've heard some great things about you guys from Fraser, and I know it's not everything because she was just raving about these consistent product education times that you guys can have to learn more about the product, learn more about the business, learn more about overcoming obstacles, these tools that you have, this training that you have, these graphics that you have, different things you have that kind of are there to equip you in this, right, in business. And I thought that was awesome because great teams make a difference. I really believe that at the end of the day. I think if there was one thing, if somebody asked me, what did you learn in 2020, Jordan? We all have different things, right? What is one thing that you learned in 2020? This is what I'd say. Pause and applause. In fact, let me explain that a little bit. 2020 was there's a lot of times that you hit times that was kind of challenging, right? And for me, the most refreshing thing that I could do throughout the year to get to the tough times, the hard times, and there was definitely some really tough times, was to pause and applause. Like, let me show it to you. Actually, I don't want to just tell it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause. And I'm just going to applause. Actually, I want you to do it with me. Just pause and applause. And I won't stop until I see every single one pausing and applauding. Come on. Come on. I know this is crazy. What am I doing, Jordan? Clapping on I see all you clapping. Come on. I don't see everybody's hand. Just pause and applause. It feels weird. I feel even more weird. Pause and applause. Cool. Awesome. 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 Now, I don't know the science of this, but I tell you this to be honest, and it may make sense to you, it may not. But when I clap, I just feel better. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know the science of it, but I know when I take a moment to pause, to breathe, and to just say, okay, and I just pause, it shifts my perspective of the current situation. I don't know. It may not make any sense to you, but that's what I thought I share in the beginning because it's very practical and it's fun and people look at you like you're crazy, but so what? I just pause and applause and I change my perspective in the moment. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the 3-day workshop we did because I'm going to try and hone it in really quickly. And here we go. If you're ready to rock, type in the chat, ready to rock. And I'm going to do my best to cover everything with the principles, get some interaction going. If you're a note taker, take some notes. And we can have some time for Q&A at the end. I'm also going to share what could be an embarrassing story. So if you like that kind of stuff, stay with me the whole time. But let's go ahead and get started. The 3-day workshop was called Life in 3D. And basically Life in 3D, one of the statistics that we covered in the beginning is that 92% of people give up on their goals. 92% of people give up on their goals. I don't know if you believe in goals or if you still do your goals or you do goal setting, and there's different planners and goal setting things and different things about it. But when I seen that statistic that 92% of people give up on goals, I thought there can quickly be an assumption, right? When you see a statistic, an assumption can be made quickly. And when you see a statistic like that 92% of people give up on goals, the assumption that can be made is that goals don't work. Right? Like, give me a thumbs up if you think that's an assumption. That's a common assumption, right? Goals don't work. My friends tell me, I don't make no goals no more. It's crazy. Why are you even doing goals? They don't work. But now the other side, there's all two sides to a story. If you look at 92% of people saying that they give up on goals, what else is there? That tells me, if you're anyone like me, when you look at that tells me that 8% of people don't. 8% of people are doing something that make goals work, right? So what is the 8% of people doing? What are they doing? And I start with that because the whole Life in 3D, it's an intensive workshop. Like I said, we take 3 days to kind of dig deep and go in it. And I think you'll see why when I cover the principles of it. But it's because it's not built on what I dreamt up. It's built on studying what 8% of people do. One of the things I get to do too in this past year is I also partner with John Maxwell this last year, and I'm able to I'm a trained speaker coach with the John Maxwell team. So I get to go ahead and use his material, and I get training and coaching directly from John Maxwell. And if you're familiar with John Maxwell, he's a profound leadership expert. I mean, he has over hundreds of books and just proven content that he has. So a lot of things we're looking at is some solid real life things that wasn't just kind of acronyms, fun acronyms, more so like real life situations that seen what stood the test of time and what didn't. What, and if that's important to you, I think it should be, because if we're talking about life, it should be important, like what stands the test of time and what doesn't. That way I don't waste my time on trying to do something that isn't going to get me there. So Life in 3D is all about what does the 8% of people do that goals work. Right? So maybe what we're doing about goals isn't working, but goals still work. So the first thing in 3D is that basically a lot of times we're looking at life in a two-dimensional part. Everybody say two-dimensional. When you look at life and goals, we're looking at length, we're looking at time. We're looking at two-dimensional, right? What's your goal? What's the length and time? The thing is that we don't live a two-dimensional life. We live a three-dimensional life. We're not a portrait, we're a sculpture, right? So there's 3 dimensions to it. There's length, time, but there's depth, and then there's height. So what is the depth? Where are we digging deep in? And that's where we start with the Life in 3D. If you take in notes, the first D is discover. So the first D in the stuff is discover. You want to take time to discover. You want to be intentional with your time to discover. And what are you discovering? You're discovering you. Like, what is it that motivates you? Because what motivates you is going to be different that motivates me. You know, I'm looking at everyone here, like we have different things that motivate us, you know. But here's the thing is, I don't know if it feels right hearing this, but I just got to be honest. Like, you'll never achieve the goals that others have for you. And if you do achieve them, you won't be fulfilled. You know, so like it's like that almost breaks my heart when people reach a certain part of success, but then there's an emptiness. Like, I don't know if you've ever done that, but you achieve something and then there's an emptiness. There's not a fulfillment. You know, it's kind of like this. We were trying so hard for something that wasn't us. That's why we start with discovery. It's starting with reflection. You never want to rush time to reflect. I always say this: when we rush time to reflect, we devalue the lessons that we learned. So we all went through life, we all went through things that we went through in tough times, but we actually devalue the lessons when we rush past time to reflect. Here's some questions you can ask. I got some quick bullet points and you can write them down as I do, but you can use these questions in your time to reflect. I'll start by saying this is different ways to reflect. I had a friend that would love going to conventions and big events, and he would always book an extra day at the hotel before he'd come home, because that one day was he would reflect on everything he learned, and then he would put in actions. He put on his calendar what he was going to do about what he just learned. So he was very intentional with what he learned every single time. It was crazy, no matter how big it was, no matter how small it was, but he really put that time to reflect. So I want to encourage you. What is it for you? There isn't a perfect formula. There's more of a consistency. Like, how much time are you taking to reflect on your day, to reflect on your year, to reflect on your experiences? And we got to be intentional with it, because here's the challenge: when we're not, we forget. Life gets busy and we live a life of default, not design. I know that might be a cliche kind of saying, but really think about it. Like, you just live a life kind of going through motions, right? And we miss the lessons that we went through. So taking the time to discover can have questions like this. Think about the most difficult situation that you've gone through in your life. Think about a very tough time that you went through, right? Or think about a very successful time that you had. What you want to do is you want to see the extremes. What was something you had great success in, and what was something maybe that was extremely difficult? And just think about that time. So that's the first bullet point right there. Think about that time. Next thing is, what did you think about that event? Very important. What words come to mind when you think about that event? When you think about that event, what's the first words that come to mind? Don't filter it, just write it down. I do this by journaling. I do this by visualizing. When I'm taking a time with affirmations in my day, I take 50 minutes in the morning before I go. I take 10 minutes before I go to sleep. It's not that long, but it's just consistent, right? So what think about the time that was tough. You also think about the next time that was maybe good. And it doesn't have to be both, but it has to be one. Just choose one. Very simple. Next thing, what do you think about the event? Third bullet point, how did you feel about the event? You want to think about an emotion, because an emotion will actually drive us or actually hold us back. So you just want to identify it. Don't judge it, just identify it. You're in a process of discovering and learning about what motivates you. Next bullet point, how did you resolve it? So how did you resolve that time? Even if it was a successful time, you know that there was challenges. So how did you resolve those challenges, right? And the last question here is, what kept you going? Now, if you write down those bullet points really quickly and you go ahead and you answer those in a quick time of reflection, like you said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points. Like I said, 50 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, whatever it is for you, however you feel it, maybe in lunchtime. But you want to take a time to discover and just kind of quiet things down, put on some cool music, whatever it is, but just reflect. Don't rush past times to reflect. There is hidden gems. There is hidden gems when you reflect. There is things I've learned when I would reflect that I would totally missed, right? So we want to take that time to discover. You know, has anybody heard the quote, success leaves clues? Raise your hand. That's a familiar thing, right? Raise your hand. Okay. Everybody's still there. We're good. Right. Okay. Success leaves clues. Awesome. Awesome. But also, so does failure. So the power of reflection is that you can learn from both, whether there was success or whether you failed. Hey, the part that you failed is done, but now you can turn that into a win only when you reflect. If we don't reflect, that failure stays a failure. But when you take time to reflect, you look back and you can say, oh, this was good, this was good. I'm going to switch this, and we can learn from it. You can get better. That's why we want to reflect. We want to look at things because we want to know what motivates you. Here's a strong point of reference. Discovery is your point A. This is your anchor, right? This is your past is meant to learn from, but not to live in, right? So we don't want to live in the past. We want to learn from it, right? So we want to move forward. So discovery, give me a thumbs up if my mic's still working. I think we're good. Okay, awesome. Number two. Everybody say number two. Number two is dream. So the first day is discovery. The next day is dream. When I say this, I kind of hesitate because I see in the audience sometimes when I'm doing live events, some people kind of roll their eyes. Some people is like, "Oh, come on, Jordan, dream? Like seriously?" Like they like the value of dreaming has dropped for a lot of people. And when I say dream, a lot of times people is like, I want the meat and potatoes, I want some solid stuff. Like, don't tell me dream, Jordan. But I want to tell you this, like, when you dream, you're looking at what challenges you to grow. You know, if goals that set within your reach will rarely motivate you to overcome obstacles in tough seasons. And once again, we're trying to find out what motivates us. So if we set goals that's within our reach and we hit obstacles, it'll be really tough to overcome them. So you want to set your goals out of reach, but always in sight. And I'll talk more about that on the next step. So your goals always want to be out of reach. A little bit, they should make you a little afraid. They should make you a little nervous. You should think, okay, why? Why am I going to even try that? Some people might even laugh at it. Some people might say you're crazy. But you want to just do that. You want to dream. You want to stretch yourself within your limitations because goals is ultimately meant to grow us. Okay, here's a few other things. Some people say vision with no action is a daydream. If you're taking notes, you want to write this down. Vision with no action is a daydream, and that's true. To have vision, to dream is with no action is like daydreaming, but that's not what this is. So vision with no action is a daydream, but action with no vision is a nightmare. And most people are living action every day without no vision. And we don't want to do that. That's a life of default. A life of default is lots of action with no vision. And that's a nightmare. So we want to take time for both. We want to have time to dream. We want to have action. And that's what that we'll talk more about that in the next step. Your memories should never be greater than your dreams. We love memories. It's awesome. But if your memories are greater than your dreams, we're going in the wrong direction. It's like the visual of a car, right? If the memories are your rear view mirror and the dreams are your windshield, sometimes we have it backwards. We have our rear view mirror huge and our memories are amazing, but our dreams forward are this little tiny window we're trying to, and we're hitting things. Or we wonder, why do I keep hitting things? Well, the window is so small. We want to flip it. You want your dreams. That's why the step of dreams is so important because you want to make that bigger than your current limitations. This helps with decision making because clarity of vision creates clarity of priorities, right? When we are clear on our vision, we're clear on our priorities in life, and that helps with decision making, right? Most stress that people feel is just the process of decision making. We have a lot of decisions to make, and we feel a sense of stress. So we can de-stress by having clarity on our vision, by taking time to dream, right? Now, how do we do that, right? How do we do all that stuff? There's different things. I can't really go into detail with it. I love to at a certain time. There's a whole process we do with it. I'm a man of faith, and I hope it's okay if I share that, but I truly believe in the power of prayer. So I always start with that, and I'm praying, and I'm kind of trying to seek a vision bigger than myself. There's a thing that I always say, and I always want to encourage everyone right now that there's something that I said that rolled off my tongue the other day, and it's been so true. I want to attempt the things in life so big that when accomplished, only God gets the credit. Like, I don't want it to be on just my education level or my limits or my reach. Like, I want to attempt things so gigantic that when accomplished, only God gets the credit. Like, people look and they're like, okay, my best friend can be Jordan. You're awesome, but I know that wasn't you. But it took faith, it took growing, it took kind of developing ourselves, right? Consistency to keep moving forward. Now, the last part is design. So we have discovery, we have dream, and then we have design. And now all of you own a business, you're all business owners, and I commend you for that. It really does. And I love the whole teaching and mindset of entrepreneurship. I think it's an art. I think it's a hidden gem in today's world. I really do. I'm such a strong believer in it. I'm trying to teach it to my kids as much as I can. So I love that all of you guys are business owners. You're a CEO, but you're also a CRO. Maybe write that in the chat or anyone else, CRO. And what a CRO is, Chief Reminding Officer. You have to be our own chief reminding officer every day. We have to remind ourselves every single day. And this has to do with everything about consistency. We have to remind ourselves about the lessons that we discovered. We have to remind ourselves about the dreams. We have to do that every single day. We have to design our life that we're consistently remind ourselves about the anchor point A and the destination, the dream. And if the more we remind ourselves about that, the more we're able to operate and stick through and stay motivated through the tough times. You know what I mean? Now, the best way I know how to tell that is the story that you tell yourself. If somebody was to ask you about a situation, how do you explain that, right? There's always multiple sides to a situation, and all I know is I'm going to share a story now with you that could be embarrassing, a true story, but I think it teaches such a really cool point in there. At one time, I was a Polynesian dancer. I had hair that was long, maybe to the mid back. I would go out and dance in luau shows at Tihatis and Jermaine's luau all throughout Waikiki. I traveled to Japan multiple times throughout the year. I absolutely loved it. It's the way I met my wife, and it's just it's such a joy to actually share the cultures. And in there, you'd have Hawaiian, you'd have, different Samoan, Tahitian, and there was a Fijian number that we had. And this is the time that I was on a contract, a 6-month contract in Japan that I was living, and we would do a Polynesian show there. And the Fijian number would come out, and I was a Fijian warrior. So picture me without the hat, without the t-shirt. Picture me as a warrior. Ugh, I'm a warrior right now. And I was a warrior in this time, a Fijian warrior. And one of the main guys in there was this big Fijian friend of mine, and he had long hair. And it looked so cool that the cast directors had us all wear wigs that would match him. So I couldn't grow my hair long at the time. So I just had, at that time, I grew my hair longer, but at that time, I had to wear a wig. And I put the wig on, got in design, and I'm ready to go. And you got to get pumped up. So me and my buddy are like backstage, ready to get pumped up. Like, oh, I'm a warrior. Okay, I'm a warrior. Get in my mind frame, put my wig on, and right on cue, I'm ready to go out. And I had no idea that my buddy, my friend, my bro, totally set me up. He put a bunch of rubber bands all in my wig. And as soon as I came out on cue, the wig that was supposed to make me look like a warrior just went like, whoop, and it was like a little, what do you call like a little like a silly looking ribbon on the top of my head balancing on my head, and I'm trying to look like a warrior, and in the moment I'm like, are you, and I just see him on the other side bust laughing, and he's just having the time of his life, like this, like he's just totally cracking up, like on the floor cracking up. And I was like mad at him, in a moment, like in a second, I'm mad at him, I'm ashamed, I'm like all these emotions. And I just was like, what am I going to do? And I look in the audience and I'm trying, so I convinced myself that I can still be a warrior. And I walk to the audience and I'm like, oh, and they're not buying it. They're looking up and they're laughing and they're having the time of their life laughing at me, trying to go through the whole Fijian number, balancing this scrunched up wig on my head. And I'm trying to do it. And you know what? Now I think about it, it's pretty cool. It never fell. Like it balanced on the top of my head the whole time. So I'm balancing it on my head. I'm trying to be warrior, like I'm coming out, and I finished the number. And in the moment, we just was started cracking up in the backstage and we're laughing. And to this day, we laugh about it like it was just happening right there. And why I share that is because when I first started to tell people about that, the reaction was, oh, I'd be so ashamed. I would quit. That's embarrassing. Oh, I would never be his friend again. And it gave me a perspective that I didn't see in the moment. I was like, wow, yeah, I could tell the story in that way. I really could. I really could tell that story in a way that, how I lost this friend of mine because he betrayed me and he stuff. And it's like we can tell the story of things we went through in totally different ways. I hope that entertained you. I hope my embarrassment brought a smile to your face. But mostly, I hope it helps us see that we can choose to have an empowering story of a situation, or an embarrassing, or a shameful, or weakening, if you want to say, story. That's why it's important to remind ourselves and to see how are we reminding ourselves. Because I tell you right now, you are already reminding yourself about situations, but you might be telling yourself a story that's not empowering. You might be telling yourself a story about starting a business and then somebody had a negative thing to say and you're just like, oh, and then that story is the story you keep repeating and you start to feel it more. It's like, oh, so it's going to be hard. Or you might be telling a story about a tough time you went through last year that you're just like, it's just not empowering. But we always have the power to look at a story and find, like I said, when we reflect and find what do I want to remind myself about that story? Not that it wasn't embarrassing. It was. But that's not what I don't want to remind myself of the embarrassment. I want to remind myself that I persevered through, because the mission of accomplishing the task was more important than me in the moment. And I was willing to just look like a silly man in a moment and be laughed at, but still accomplish the task, because at the end, the audience saw value in what we did, and we won. And it was a great show. But in the process, it was a little bit tough. So think about that in a sense as we're going through. I want to close with something really quickly, if it's okay. And the last thing I'll share with you as we talk about a cool story about a rubber band is a principle that we talked about. Fraser shared, you see the rubber band. Fraser shared the mastermind we went through. John Maxwell does a book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And just one of the laws talks about the law of the rubber band. So if you can type that in the chat, the law of the rubber band, really quickly. Go ahead, type that in the chat really quickly, the law of the rubber band. And if you have a rubber band close by, I want to encourage you to grab the rubber band really quickly. Ladies, you might have it in your hair. You might have it. I heard that asparagus gives you a great benefit of a purple rubber band. Boom, that was funnier in my head than sorry. I tried. Okay. Anyway, so if you have a rubber band, go ahead here. The law of the rubber band. Awesome. Now, type in the chat also, when you're looking at the rubber band, what is things you can do with this rubber band? Please help me out. Type in the chat. Let's just blow up the chat. What is things that you can do with the rubber band? Not this one, because this is for your hair, but anything. Hold things with it. Tittle hold things together. Put your hair up. Awesome. What else? Hair. Come on. Lord Reverend, hold my button pants up. Acts like an airplane. right. The bag of chips. Fling it at people. Hold money. Awesome. Look. Some creative stuff. I never seen some of those. Right. Some cool stuff you can do with just a rubber band. It's just a rubber band, guys. But look, you can kill flies. Oh my goodness. Look. For the cords, tie your mask and hold it, stretch it, expand and stretch. Be my kids. I'm using that. Hold pens together, right? Close jeans pants when you're pregnant. Oh, look at that. See? Innovation. You're an innovative, creative group. So look, so many things you can do with a rubber band. Stitch marker and knitting, mark your pens, right? Okay. Some really, honestly, I've never seen some of the things you guys are sharing. You guys are giving me some good insight. With all of those things that you can do with the rubber band, what is the one thing that a rubber band has to do to achieve all of that? There's one thing that a rubber band has to do to achieve that. What is the one thing? Latasha said, I seen Latasha, I see Kule, Sherlyn, Margaret, Kaimi, Tani. It's going quick, so forgive me if I miss your name, but you guys get it. You nailed it. You got it. It has to stretch, right? A rubber band has to stretch to do any of those, right? This is the rubber band that's not stretched. So when I hear that, I think, so that would mean, when I first learned this, I thought, so that would mean the purpose of a rubber band to achieve any of those things, the sole purpose of it is to be stretched. If it's not stretched, it's not in its full purpose. You know what the cool thing is? I think we're the same. If you think about it, anything that when you're on purpose, when you take time to discover, when you take time to dream, when you take time to design, you're going to have sight and focus on things that's going to have you stretch a little, right? But it's okay. It's okay. We don't break, but we stretch, right? I think Liza mentioned about it's about being in our uncomfort places, right? We want to be in places that we're a little uncomfortable, but we want to know that that's okay, because when we're uncomfortable, we're in a time of serving our greatest purpose, right? So anytime you feel like you're being stretched a little, I want you to stop. Actually, a better word, I want you to pause and applause. This is uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it. This is uncomfortable, but I'm going to push through. There is a gem in here that I'm going to find. There's a lesson that I'll find. There is something in here that's greater than my hesitations right now. There is something that I have to focus on that I'm not seeing right now. What is it that I'll focus on? What is it that I'll learn today that will be able to pour into someone else in the future? Be persistent and fight for that, because when you're being stretched at times in growing, right? The greater we're stretched, the greater we can hold things together, the greater you can serve your purpose as you're growing. So the thing is, one thing that's a Jordan thing that I'll start to close with. Sorry about the time. One thing that is a Jordan thing is that part of growing a business is all about growing the person. Once we stop growing ourselves, it's really hard to grow a business. It's really hard to grow a business. Business growth is in direct proportion with personal growth. The more we continue to grow ourselves, and the only way to grow is to stretch a little, not to break, stretch a little, come back. And what do? We discover. We take a time to pause, we discover, we dream, we grow. We take a time to pause. And it's a continued process that we continue to go through consistency over and over again. So as we start to kind of wrap it up, I want to kind of land on some things. I wish I could have more time here, but I want to respect and honor the time that you allowed me here today. I want to do a quick recap as we start to close up. Number one, we covered what motivates you as the person. This is all about focus. This is all about time to discover. This is your time to reflect. This is when you pause and applause. This is when you do that process. Number one, the whole thing is what motivates you as a person. What motivates you is going to be different for anyone else, but really dialing in on what motivates you will help you overcome the toughest of times that you have. All about focus. Number two, how often do you remind yourself, right? Well, pause in that focus. I went a little too quick. Sorry. In that time of focus, what motivates you, it's about combining your discover and your dream. That's what you want to focus on, what you've learned and where you're going. Now, number two, how often do you remind yourself? What's the story you tell yourself, and who are you talking it to? This group, I can definitely tell it's a very healthy and a great team. The people, you want to identify the people and connect there and share that, because that's where you'll get accountability. That's where you'll get encouragement. That's what will help you get through tough times, right? The three words that you put in the chat in the beginning, I want you to go ahead and start with reminding yourself for the next 30 days. Really easy. This is how you would go ahead and remind someone else and encourage them. So go ahead and set it in your calendar as when you wake up as an event. And you set it in there for the next 30 days. Really easy. It'll take you not even 5 minutes, but you just put the three words to remind you as soon as you wake up and as soon as you go to sleep. And you wake up and you'll see that every single day to remind yourself the three words that you would remind someone else, because we want to have self-leadership first above everything else, right? That's how we become a model, an example of what we're trying to equip other people with. So do that. That's the first thing, is remind yourself for the next 30 days. Really easy to set up the three words that you chose for yourself that you would pour into somebody else. Speak that into your life, and then you'll have that there. You can even, if you don't want to use your phone, go ahead and post it on a mirror. When you're getting ready in the morning, you read the mirror. I do it with my kids. I got it all in the mirror, post-its. And as they're brushing their teeth, they're not singing a happy birthday song. They're saying, today I choose to believe. Today I choose to trust. I am a great person. I choose to love. And they're going through all that post-it notes in the morning when they're brushing their teeth. The last thing here that we'll close with at the end, I want to check really quickly. There's a saying in doTERRA that we are a personal development company with a paycheck. I love that. Wow, personal development company with a paycheck. This is cool, awesome. I'll share this as we end at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the, I'm going back into workshop mode at the time that we have here. I hope that there was value in the time that you allowed me today. I really, I hope that you see, I tried my best to show you that I want to be genuine with you. I want to be real with you. I don't want to just kind of talk above it or outside anything. I'm genuinely interested in people developing and growing. And I really appreciate the time that you took to spend and to share with me in this time here. You're taking the time to focus on the business, learn more about the product, and you felt an opportunity to open up here and allow me to come in and spend some time with you and your awesome team. I don't hold that lightly. I really don't. So thank you so much for the time here. I would also say, yes, there is consistent trainings that we are doing, and that's my calling. That's truly my calling in life, is to continue to pour out as much as that's been poured into me, and it's a double blessing every time I get a chance to do it. So thank you for the blessing tonight, as I got a chance to spend some time with you guys. If there was one thing, my hope was that everything made sense. If there was one thing that made sense, I'd say just focus it. The last thing I'll say to close is that in any time, to make any time of learning a win, you ask yourself three questions: what did I hear? What did I learn? And what am I going to do about it? whether it's a commercial, whether it's a quick video you watch, whatever it is, what something you read, an article, a book, a convention, you ask yourself, what did I hear? What did I learn? Two different things, two very different things. What did I hear? What did I learn? And what am I going to do about it? And that's how you maximize any time that you have for learning, whether it's a quick staff training, a convention, or whatever it may be. With that being said, thank you for the leadership and the time that you allowed me tonight. It was fun to kind of share what was shared with me, and I just really enjoyed it. So thank you. I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Liza? Thank you, Liza. Thank you so much. And is it Sherlyn? Sherlyn and Fraser, of course. Fraser, you're a rock star. You know, I know you guys, and from the friend that you are and just the leader that all of you guys are, and committing to be here and stay consistent. You know, always show up, always take a shot, even if your hand is shaking. That's all I'll say for tonight. Thank you, guys.
Fabulous. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Jordan. Wow, you poured so much into us. I am so grateful. We are all so grateful for you joining us tonight on our team call. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody, Fraser put Jordan's Instagram handle in the chat, so be sure to check him out. I think that you will be seeing many more of us in our community soon. But seriously, thank you. Huge round of applause. If you guys want to mute yourself and say thank you, for sure, do that. Fraser, you want to say anything?
Thank you for joining us tonight. I feel like our team really needed that, and you dropped so many amazing like takeaways for all of us. So I hope it helps us all just like grow in our personal lives and our businesses, and that was a huge help. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
For sure. Awesome.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, please.
If there's any questions, and I know we're out of time, but I'd love to kind of let, because sometimes when there's time to share, sometimes questions arise. And if there's questions, I'm always open to helping process things. There's ways to kind of connect to social media or other times. But let me just encourage you, like if there's one person that knows that you're doing this every day and you wake up, and I guarantee you there is, you're inspiring them. They won't tell you, but you are. Like you're an example of what the pursuit of freedom is. Like everyone you're on the call, you're an example of that. So be inspired. There's good days, there's bad days. You know, it's not about how much you do, it's just stay consistent, keep persevering. You guys rock. You really do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Kate is going to spin the circle, the wheel, for our giveaway. Just a kind of quick reminder of some things that are coming up. Ongoing product education has started back up again this week, Sunday at 4 p.m. We are not going to have classes on Sunday the 7th of February because it's Super Bowl. So I'll just say that now in case I forget. And then of course it'll be on our team calendar when Fraser puts that out. You guys, our classes are back in full swing. We have Monday nights. We have at 8:30, Tuesday at 4. We want to help you grow your businesses. So please invite, and get people on the calls. All right, Kate, you ready to announce the winner?
Yes. Could you give me
yes.
sharing?
Absolutely.
And then hopefully I didn't miss anyone's name. So let me share my screen and you can see if, make sure your name is on there if you got your pages done. Okay, look good, everyone? All right, I'm gonna spin that wheel. Annie!
Yay, congratulations. Is Cami still on the call? All right. Okay, congratulations, Cami. Yes, girl. You're a good winner too. I owe you some protein from as well that I need to get shipped your way. Congratulations. Yes, Kanan, she said she did hers and she doesn't need a prize. Yes. Your leadership team is doing this work alongside with you guys. I completed mine. I did not get to the 25 in each column, but I did complete that. How about you spin again then? Oh no, you're good, girl. You won fair and square. The wheel has spoken. I'm just impressed. Fraser's mother-in-law is also very lucky as well with the wheel. So yes, Cami, you are a winner. All right, everybody. Thank you as always. Let's go ahead and take a quick team pick. If you don't mind turning on your camera. Jordan, we would love to see your face if you're still there. Be able to tag you in our team pick for the night. Awesome. Okay, awesome. First screen, smile. And second screen, give me those chomps. Yes. All right, everybody. As always, thank you for showing up for yourselves, for your community, for your learning, for your growth, and especially showing up for the amazing Jordan. Thank you, Fraser, for bringing him to our team. What a huge, huge blessing that was for us to have you share all of your wisdom. I got a ton out of it. And so after this call, I hope you take a few minutes to think about the things that you heard, the things that you learned, and then think about what you're going to do with that. Good night, everybody. We love and appreciate you all. Bye.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye, Mom. Love you.